Hello, everyone. This is Will,
And this is Alex.
and welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Boom! Mostly.
My computer's freaking out a little bit, and might hear some sounds. Now I want to say something. I'm glad that this movie knows who its audience is, and I'm glad it's dedicated to the veteran who gave up his.
Don't give it away.
No.
Not yet, Will.
All right. Okay.
You
I'll
gotta
wait.
save it. The movie saved it, so you can do that. You can save it too.
This movie is dedicated to one veteran,
The best veteran.
the most badass of veterans.
We are talking, of course,
About Roddy Barrows.
Johnny Barrows.
Johnny. Oh, why did I say Roddy Barrows?
I don't know.
Johnny Barrows.
Johnny Barrows,
Excuse me.
and not just any Johnny Barrows. Mean Johnny Barrows.
Yep. That's the name of the movie. Mean Johnny Barrows. And he's not mean for 90% of the movie.
No, not
But-
even at the end. I wouldn't call him mean.
No, he was never mean.
He's very reasonable.
He was.
He's pretty reasonable. That's the movie.
And he
It
tries to play it straight-laced.
It should be called Reasonable Johnny Barrow.
Yeah, because what he does is reasonable.
Even the ending.
I don't know if the ending would... Oh. Well, it's he acted reasonably. I don't know if I'd call the ending reasonable.
Oh, the ending is the most reasonable thing I've ever seen.
It's a little...
I'm a little baffled. I have never heard of this movie before, but we'll get to that.
So am I, because it's a movie I probably would have totally watched by myself. Actually.
This is my jam. This is my shit. So it's a blaxploitation movie. Blaxploitation action movie. We've watched a lot of these. You might have noticed. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No,
because
I actually enjoy most of them.
Because apparently in the 70s, not a lot of white people make action movies. So here we are. We watch movies with black people and the occasional martial arts shenanigans.
Yes.
And that's good. Because...
that's all we needed.
Especially for this year, we are 2 for 2. Because we had Black Force, which is quite possibly the funniest movie ever made. And now
you say funniest. I had a terrible time with that movie.
Listen, you bullshit. You had a great time, boy.
Not the shakedown scenes. Fuck those.
That's the best time.
No.
And now this. This is much more of a real movie.
Yes. So a little background. I didn't know this before going into it, but it's directed by an NFL superstar.
Well, I didn't know he was I didn't know he was an NFL player. Apparently.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, I mean, I don't follow sports ball that well.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know because I know Fred Williamson.
Yeah, so the movie stars Fred Williamson and,
because he's been in he's been in quite a few movies.
He's been in a lot of blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
Good ones, which is why, we haven't watched any of them before on this podcast.
Yeah.
But good ones. But the thing that most people will probably know him from is that he was in From Dusk Till Dawn. Do you remember?
Yeah, he was Frost, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
The, big, tough black dude.
Yeah.
That was him. Even though that movie's 20 years after this, he still looks pretty much the fucking same in that movie.
He's actually been in a lot of, stuff. But, yeah, I looked it up after, and he was from the Oakland Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs.
I had literally no clue.
I didn't either, but, he was a blaxploitation star.
Yeah.
But for good reason, because even this movie was goddamn beautiful.
And he directed this.
And he directed it, which is even better, because he loves doing weird, crazy shit, and I love that.
Listen, this thing, I don't know. So, it starts with, a military drill.
Yeah.
And, he's the one who's leading the drill. And they're doing a mine training.
Oh, right, okay, so yeah, and then they tell him that they're fake mines, that they're just training, right? Mm-hmm. So, if they step on a mine, you need to figure out what to do, but it's not going to explode on you because they're dummy mines.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the one that Johnny Barrows steps on.
So one of the other army dudes decides to fuck with him and plant a live mine.
Yes.
So he steps on. He's like, "You really had me step on a live mine." And then he takes off his pin.
Well, the guy's like, "Well, you can just defuse it with a pin."
Yeah. But he doesn't defuse it apparently, but it does make it like
delays it. It delays the explosion.
Yeah. So he takes off a pin, and the pin has his name on it.
This is like, it was really cool how they introduced the character. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it.
It's solid. It kind of reminds me of like a spaghetti western.
Yeah, because he takes off his pin,
and the pin has his name on it,
and he like puts it in, and like in just clear center of the camera is Johnny Barrows.
So he puts it in, and then he gets them to like put like their flak jackets around the mine. I guess so that it doesn't like
shrapnel or maybe
shrapnel everywhere.
Like that, yeah.
So they put it around, and then he jumps off, and it's like a delayed explosion.
And then the guy like jokes around like, "Ha, see, you were fine" or whatever. And then Johnny Barrows just slaps him in the fucking face.
He bitch slaps him down.
Like literally knocks him the fuck out with a bitch slap.
Yeah. Credits. Opening credits. He's riding back on a bus because he's been, discharged.
Yeah, because like the guy when he slapped him was like, "I'm gonna get you discharged, Johnny Barrows. You'll see. I'm gonna like all this stupid shit." I swear to God, Johnny Barrows.
Oh yeah, they did
I'm gonna get you.
They did like a close up of his face, and then you just hear, "I'm gonna get you, Johnny. I'm gonna get you discharged."
And he does. That. So Johnny's on a bus while the credits roll, and we get this groovy like theme song. To
you
Johnny
hear it
Barrows.
at least 3 times.
I would say more than that, but because you hear the groove.
You hear it 3 times with the lyrics.
Yeah. You hear the groove a lot. So.
They play an instrumental version sometimes.
Yeah.
So you get this song, and he comes home to Los Angeles, and he's like homeless now, pretty much.
And cue the social commentary.
He immediately, I do mean immediately, gets jumped.
Yeah, gets beaten the fuck up and like robbed.
They take everything he has, and these cops show up, and he's like dazed because he just got beat up, and they're assuming he's drunk.
Yeah, they think he's like really drunk, and they're like, okay, well, like he can barely stand up. Look at him; he's all dazed, and he won't like tell them anything.
Yeah.
So he like he stays completely silent.
So they arrest him, and they're about to beat him up in the prison until like another, I guess, a higher up cop shows up, and he tells them like, what the hell are you doing? Like he's not drunk. Leave him alone. And then he
does exposition. Because we need to know who Johnny Barrows
was.
Okay?
A really quick exposition dump.
That's what I like about this movie, though. It's just quick. Like they don't spend a lot of time, like, because we've seen movies where they just take their fucking time with certain scenes, like where it goes on way too long.
Yeah.
This one just like, nope. I don't want to, except for the job search scene. Well,
the job search scene does do something that kind of lessens the time.
But like,
we'll get to that.
I like how he's just like no bullshit, like like no fluff. It's all quick scenes.
So it's just instant because the guy's like, "Oh, I know you. You played football." So it's meta.
Yeah, because he's a football. A football star is playing a former football star, who turned war veteran.
Yeah. So you get that, and it's quick, and he releases him. So he goes around, and then he goes inside this restaurant. It's like the kitchen.
Yes.
And the chef immediately picks up a big fucking knife and
starts threatening him.
And he's like, "Look, I just want to eat. And then like the owner comes in.
This is where we get introduced to Mario.
Mario and Nancy.
Yes. And you'll need to know their names because they're prominent characters throughout the entire movie.
Immediately, Mario gets him some food.
Some spaghetti.
And he eats it, and immediately Mario tries to hire him. Get used to this.
Yep. Yeah, please get used to this. 'Cause Mario, but like...
He's trying to hire him for... You don't know it yet. But Johnny knows that he's trying to hire him for some, let's say, less than legal things.
Well, because they had known each other in the past. And like...
Had they?
Yeah, because like he knew who Johnny Barrows was, and Johnny knew who Mario was.
Oh, wait.
They had known each other since high school, apparently.
Oh, because they played... Oh, yeah, they were both football players in the past.
Both played football. So, like...
Oh, okay.
So, Johnny... Does that make Yeah.
Okay, I remember now.
So
okay.
like Johnny knows like what Mario is up to.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why he's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
He's immediately like that,
Like,
and
I'm just like, I don't want that.
He has to sleep on the streets, and he goes job searching.
Yep.
He gets a newspaper. He looks in like the wanted ads, and then
you see him like kind of like living on the streets, but also like looking for a job. And this is this job search scene.
It's
like,
interesting.
Again, they don't waste time.
So here's what here's what you get. You get scenes like stacked on top of each other. That's the best way I can explain it.
Well, they took the film print, like they took a shot and then they took another shot and then just like superimposed one shot onto the other.
So basically, you get two scenes in one.
Like him job searching, but like it's like a scene of him job searching at like a
warehouse,
a foundry, and then like a scene of him walking into like a convenience store, but they're like superimposed onto each other.
And that's the whole scene as the song is playing, and the song is like, no job for Johnny, no job for a hero.
Another one of those like way too on the mark songs.
Oh, it's so on the mark. It's great.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, at this point, it's like a staple of the genre.
Yeah.
Those like really like
we just come to expect it. Like
you
just have a theme song usually, and you stick with it and you play it during
and the song
important parts
is like pertinent to what you're seeing.
Yeah.
It's but again, like the scenes are stacked on top of each other, and basically like a scene that might last like, I don't know, 6 minutes lasts 3.
Yeah.
Because essentially
because it's 2 3-minute scenes just stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, they just stack them. And he can't find a job.
So he decides to sleep in this like little alleyway, and he kind of crouches himself in like this doorway.
And then we get an absolutely batshit insane scene with the homeless professor.
Yep. What was his name? Professor Bartholomew. Like
he had like this crazy name.
Yeah.
Because Johnny's like trying to eat, and he sees like there's this like really shitty looking like hot dog in the trash can.
Yeah.
And he's about to pick it up, and then this guy comes along, and he introduces himself as his professor, and he's like, "Listen, you don't need this. We'll go like civilized people, and we're gonna go to a soup line." And it's like, I swear to God, for like a brief second, for 2 minutes, it turns into like an indie comedy.
Yeah. Well, his name. Okay, so it's played by like we get some like decently big like character actors here. It's played by Elliot Gould.
You've seen
he's
him.
in a ton of stuff. Like he's just a character actor, but
you've seen him.
Yeah, his name is Professor Theodore Rasputin Waterhouse III.
Okay, that is awesome. Oh God!
Like, and it turns into like an indie buddy like comedy.
Yeah. So yeah, Elliot Gould was in the Ocean's movies. He was in American History X. He's been.
Well, I love it.
He was on Friends. He's been in you know him. You've seen him.
I love it because he's showing him like the streets, and like they just walk up to a counter and start eating a guy's food, and
a guy's hot dog.
He's totally okay with it. He's just like, okay.
Listen, some dude who dressed like a philosophy professor comes up, and a big black man are in front of your face. You're not going to argue with them about your fucking hot dog.
No.
And they joke about how he looks like a lollipop because he's dressed in like this fucking orange sweater.
And that's weird because
then they're like, let's go eat together.
And they just walk off together. Like
it's so random.
It's like a buddy. Like it's weird.
I swear to God, like this scene is so out of nowhere. It's something.
Well, hey,
I'm not complaining.
He learned to live on the streets, okay?
It's true. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Professor Bartholomew.
I'm going to guess Elliot Gould just happened to be on set that day, and they decided to just, like...
Maybe he was, like, filming a different movie.
Yeah, like...
And they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just use Elliot Gould for a minute.
I'm not complaining.
This is the only scene he's in.
It is.
And he leaves. You never see his character, and he's never talked about ever again.
It's also the only scene in the movie that's, like, comedic.
Yeah.
Because after this, it's back to, like, poverty and stuff.
Now we're introduced to the Da Vinci's.
Okay.
And their flower shop.
They're opening up a flower shop, but it's not really a flower shop.
It's a drug laundering, like it's a money laundering drug operation.
They put the dope
in the flowers,
like little bags in the flowers, and they're opening up. And
so we get the Don Da Vinci. Wow, that sounds cliche.
Da Vinci.
But that's exactly what it is. Don Da Vinci.
My Don.
My Don Da Vinci, and his two sons, Tony, and I have no idea because I can't remember the other names. It's like, does it start with an A, like Arthur?
Is it Antonio?
Antonio, yeah.
Or Anthony?
I think it's Antonio.
Probably.
But I know one of them. The important one is Tony. Because
yeah.
Tony becomes a bigger character in the movie.
Well, Tony becomes someone's
They're talking
man.
because they just started this flower shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about like how they're gonna like run the drugs and like how this whole operation is gonna work.
The other brother was named Carlo.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they're talking about this operation, and Tony's kind of he's kind of the, what do you call it?
He's a little wet behind the ears on this whole thing.
No, he's like, he wants to be a bigger part of it.
Yeah,
but like the Don, so his father and his older brother don't really take him seriously.
Well, because he's the youngest one.
Yeah, and he's like desperately trying to like be a bigger part of the crime shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not letting him, which kind of ties into a certain thing that happens later. And, you know, we get that introduction, and then we get some more of Johnny.
So then Johnny's at like a homeless shelter or like just hanging out on the streets.
Yeah.
And the woman
pulls up
and wants to talk to Johnny.
I was like, let's talk. And, you know, he gets in. And Mario's in the car as well. And again, they offer him a job.
And he says no. Again.
And they're like, okay.
So we're 2 for 2 on the offers, okay?
Yep.
We'll keep tally.
We will.
We are 2 for 2 on Mario offering Johnny a job.
Is this when they take him to
They take him to meet the other mob boss.
So they take him to meet the main guy.
Yeah.
And that's when he denies it.
Yes.
That's when he turns it down.
Because the mob boss tries to offer him, like, what are you worth, Johnny?
Yeah.
Like,
and he just kind of jokes around and says
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah.
And he leaves. He talks with the woman some. And they quote unquote fall in love.
Yeah, it's weird. They form a relationship just through that.
Well,
they don't even kiss or anything in the entire movie. Nothing happens between them.
My prediction was...
But they fall in love.
My prediction was way fucking off. But yeah, they don't even kiss or anything. They just feel a connection. And they talk about like what they want. Johnny he just wants to own something that's his. They can't be taken away. And she just tells him, Johnny, I want the same things you do.
And then that's
simple.
Love.
It's simple.
That's love.
You know what that is? It's called cutting the fat. It's called just making it as simple as fucking
Well, I love
imaginable.
how there's no romance in this movie either.
None.
It's just like, that is literally the scene. They just talk about what he wants. She says she wants the same thing.
They play some lovey-dovey music.
And then it's over.
That's how you know. And every scene with them until the end is like that.
The money shot, I would appropriately call it.
It is the money shot.
But the mob boss wants Johnny, right?
Yeah.
So he tells Mario to keep trying to convince him to like join and say like, you know, we'll give him whatever he wants, kind of thing. Because apparently Johnny has like a good background in it, and he's also like a war veteran, so they know he's seen a bunch of combat.
They know he's fine with essentially killing.
Yeah.
And Johnny finds a job at a gas station.
Yep. And he starts washing cars.
The owner basically makes him do all of the dirty work.
And like
clean the bathrooms, like clean the floor, wash cars, like nothing.
You can't like repair anything. You can't run the gas.
You can't fill up the cars or anything like that.
Nothing. You do all the trash work.
Yeah.
And he pays him shit.
Yep. And they argue all the time. And
well, now we get more.
So the other mob boss is because Johnny's not game for work.
he hires another goon. He doesn't hire him. He has him in his operation, and he's like, okay, well, if Johnny's not going to join, then I'm going to have you go take care of the Da Vinci's for me.
So this guy goes to the flower shop, asks them if, so-and-so is there, takes out a gun, scene cuts.
So this other mob boss tried to take out a hit on the entire family of the Da Vinci's.
Yep. And scene cuts, so you don't see what happens, but you find out later.
You basically know what happens.
We do know, because they deliver flowers to the other mob boss, and just so we're clear, it's not the Da Vinci's that send the Da Vinci's are sending the flowers to the other mob boss. Yes.
Yeah.
So they send these flowers, and the note says so Antonio loved flowers, now he sleeps with them, and they unwrap them and they see all this blood in there.
Yeah.
And it's presumed that they cut
his hand or finger or something like that.
And they know that, it's fucked up. And they try hiring Johnny again.
Again, third time.
They go to the gas station and they're talking to him, and the owner comes out and starts washing their car, and they're like, "Who's this creep? Get out of here. I want to talk to Johnny."
Yeah, let me talk to Johnny alone.
He gets pissed. But Johnny turns it down again. Because he's like, "Look, this may be bad, but I'm doing I'm doing an honest job. I'm not doing anything, illegal or suspicious." And is this when Payday?
This is when the mob bosses talk after this scene.
Oh, yeah. They go to the...
So they form a huge meeting.
In a graveyard.
Yeah. Telling.
Message.
So they organize a huge meeting between both mob families, right? Mm-hmm. And so basically, the Da Vinci's want to keep operating their business, but they don't want any trouble from the other mob.
Well, they also want to join up,
right?
Make a truce.
Well, they want to corner the market, right?
But the Da Vinci's, they tell them that they are selling dope, they're selling drugs to, as they say, blacks and Latinos.
Specifically to that group. So,
and they're kind of they're kind of shrugging it off whatever, it's those people.
Well, and I love how the other mob boss is well, they're people too,
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not okay with this.
How would you feel about selling drugs to your kids?
How would you feel about someone selling drugs to your kids? And he's like, well, but it's not my kids, it's their kids.
Yeah.
And so he's just no, I refuse.
So one of them's progressive, one of them is just a racist.
So listen, he's got he's got standards, okay?
There's a progressive mob boss and just an evil piece of shit.
And the guy doesn't give a fuck. So, they're like, okay, whatever. And as they go back to their car, they all get their guns out.
The Da Vinci's get out all their guns and start just firing away at the other mob.
They mow them down.
They just kill every single one of them except for Mario.
Well, I thought Mario was dead. And at this point, I was like, what the fuck? They literally just murdered everybody.
Yeah.
But then we find out Mario's, he's hospitalized, but he is dying.
Yes. So the woman comes in and she's like, Mario, are you okay? And he tells her to come closer and is like,
get Johnny.
You need to recruit Johnny. You need to bring him here and I need to talk to him.
It's more like,
yeah.
Get
Johnny.
Hire him. Tell him I'll give him everything he wants. And then, so Johnny's at the gas station. And it's payday.
Yep. And he tries to shake down his boss because
he gets his check.
And it's $21 for a month. A month of work for $21. So understandably...
To be fair, I'd be pissed off too.
Understandably, Johnny is fucking furious.
Cleaning toilets for a month for $21.
Even in the 70s, that's shit
That's
pay.
shit.
That is shit pay.
And then the boss makes all these excuses.
Hey, at least I'm paying you. I'm giving you a place to stay.
And so he tries to steal the money, and there's a fight. And then the cops are just driving by, and they're like, hey, there's trouble. So immediately they pull in.
Johnny
fights with them.
He fights with everyone, and then eventually they get the upper hand.
And they arrest him, and then they take him to prison again. And then the guy who we talked to earlier comes out, and he's like, you must have some pretty, some friends in high places. Because, you're out. we're releasing you. Like, go. Don't keep a woman waiting.
Yep.
And he talks to the Nancy again, and we get the romantic music.
She convinces him to go to the hospital because Mario's dying, and he needs to see him before he dies, basically.
So he goes there, and he's, they talk a little more. Mario promises him, he's like, what do you want? He's like, I want...
a plot of land.
I want land.
And
like something in land.
And again, $100,000.
He's like, yeah, I can give it to you. He's like, don't feel bad about killing. And then he like goes on this like long rant. He's like, the Da Vinci's, they're trash. They're scum. They're a family of maggots.
They are really trying to sell it for their 4th fucking time, trying to convince Johnny.
Well, he didn't tell him this beforehand. But now he's like, yeah, they're scum. They're a family of maggots. They deserve to die. They are trash. Like, just dig it in. And
Johnny refuses.
He says he's got to think.
Yeah.
So he thinks, and then before he talks to him,
we get an inside to the flower drug trade, and how they're like putting the drugs into the pots,
and we see them giving like the flowers to like black people who come in and stuff.
Yep, and Latinos, yes.
And also, before he was telling Johnny all this stuff, he told Nancy to leave. And then, you find out that they, who the fuck? Oh, the Da Vinci's are like trying to like, they were like, talk to the woman, talk to Nancy.
And I'm like, what? So,
then, they were like sitting around in the hospital, Johnny and Mario, and they're like, I'm worried about her. And she's like, the thought of her being out there unprotected makes me angry. And he's like, Mario's like, good. Like, you should be angry. Because then you work for me. and then they get a phone call. And Nancy says, like...
Basically, she's been kidnapped.
Well, she says she was kidnapped. And then... I don't remember how this line went. It was like, Johnny, they did something to me. And then immediately shows him, and he's like, I can't believe they would do that.
I think they're insinuating that Tony raped...
Yes.
Raped her.
That's definitely what they're... Well, we find out later that is what she told him.
Right.
At the very, very, very end.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you don't know at this point, like, what they did to her.
At this point, she just says they did something, and then it
just makes Johnny furious.
Yeah. He's like, I can't believe they would do that to you. And then she, hangs up the phone, and then and then you hear a voice. He's like, wow, you almost got me believing I did those things to you. And then she rolls over, and it's Tony.
Yep, and they have a whole plot to lure Johnny to take the job.
To murder everybody.
So he will murder all the Da Vinci's so that they can run the family business.
Because Tony is pissed that no one takes him seriously.
Yeah, and because they're going to take out Johnny at the end.
Yep.
So they can run everything without anyone in their way.
Well...
That doesn't work out too well.
So Johnny takes the job... And then we cut to the flower shop, and my favorite thing during this scene is that the Goombas in the flower shop are playing cards, and one of them loses and just throws his cards on the table and yells, "Balls!
Balls!" I love it.
That's a little unexpected.
No, I love this scene because one of them goes to the counter, and then, okay, so let me set this up a little bit. Johnny, the whole movie, has been wearing Levi pants,
the same
and a Levi jacket,
the same dirty clothes
with a white shirt.
Now
he's been wearing the same thing, but Mario gave him some money,
so he
to straighten himself up.
He swagged up.
He's wearing a full-on white pinstripe suit with a blue button-down shirt and like a tie.
Yep, and so he just comes out from like behind a fucking street lamp. Just comes out. And then walks into the flower shop.
And I even made the joke, he's dressed to kill.
all white. And he comes in there. He unbuttons his suit.
And there's a giant-ass gun right where his crotch is. Like, pointing down.
And he just takes out his gun and shoots the guy at the counter.
He just starts fucking mowing people. Well, I mean, he only takes out 2 of them.
So he takes out 2 of them.
So he takes out one of the clerks and then...
hides.
And then one of the Da Vinci's sons comes out and finds the dead body.
And then it's this... So he kills the guy at the counter. one of the sons runs out with a random like Goomba, and then the one Goomba runs outside as Johnny like comes up from behind him and shoots him, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
And then it immediately cuts to like the family, like the main Da Vinci guy, talking to like the guy being like, "You let him kill my kid. Like, how dare you?" And he's like, "Listen, I've been good, my Don. I tried, my Don.
My Don? My Dan?
I'm sorry, my Don."
Well, he says my Dan. Like, I got confused at this part because his accent, he says, my Dan.
Yeah. It's supposed to be my Don. He's like, my Dan.
Yeah.
But he keeps saying that, and then eventually he just like... Have you seen The Godfather?
Yes.
Godfather 2 particularly.
You mean
specifically?
The You're Breaking My Heart scene?
Yeah, there's that scene where he kisses Fredo.
Yeah,
and then just
you're
says,
breaking my
"You're
heart.
breaking my heart." And when he does that in that scene, you know that shit's going down.
Yeah, but that's a really tense scene. Like,
so he does that in this movie.
Exactly that he knows at that point.
So in this movie, he does the same thing because obviously they saw The Godfather.
It's just goofy.
It's goofy, but it's also awesome because he does that and then tells him, "Kill yourself with your own gun."
Yeah.
Like fucking seppuku.
Yeah.
But
and the guy fucking does it.
And he just does it.
He just fucking shoots himself in the head.
Shoots himself. But my favorite thing is we see the gun, he fires it off, and then it immediately transitions
to the girl with a blow dryer.
With a blow dryer to her head.
Oh my god. Held the same way he was holding a gun.
Oh, it's beautiful. God. And then so she's at home, drying her hair. She gets a phone call from Tony. He's like, "Hey, I gotta leave for a week. I'm going to Mexico."
Because he has to lay low because he doesn't want any heat on him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want Johnny on him either.
Well,
that didn't work out either because
so he,
Johnny
knows.
Unknown to us, just stows away on the boat.
So he gets to his boat, and he's all there, sleeping, thinking everything's hunky-dory. Johnny comes out, smacks the fucking, one of the guards.
He knocks him the fuck
just
out.
Punches him with his gun. And knocks him the fuck out, wakes the guy up by shoving a pillow in his face. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. It looked like he was going to try and suffocate him, or at least put the gun on the pillow and fire.
But no.
He scares Tony awake.
And then he takes him outside.
And then Tony's like, "Oh, don't
what are you doing?
Me. What are they offering you? I'll pay you double."
And he's like, "Hello, Mr. Da Vinci. I got a contract to kill you."
Yeah, just totally cool.
And just
smooth as silk.
And then he's like, sees a knife.
And so he picks it up and he's like...
It's like, I know what you did to Nancy.
He's like,
you like screwing women.
You like screwing things. Maybe the fish will like screwing you or whatever.
So he turns him around and
cuts his calf.
Cuts his calf. And then makes him jump in the fucking water, assuming that a shark's gonna eat him or something.
I love this scene because as mid-jump, Tony's like, "I can't swim!" like just a dubbed voiceover mid-jump. I can't swim! And then jumps in the water and starts flailing around and then immediately cuts.
It cuts immediately to the Don talking and being like, "Oh my god.
I can't
both
believe
of my
killed
sons.
My son.
My wife won't even talk to me anymore."
She says I have no... She tells me that she has
no
more
tears
to cry.
And he's pissed. And he's like...
So he's like, "I'm going to call Armor."
He says, "I'm going to call Armor." Now, when he said, "I'm going to call Armor," I thought he meant
armaments?
Like backup.
Yeah. Something to protect himself.
But no. He just picks up the phone, ring, ring, ring. "Hello, Armor?" Armor is a person. And Armor's gonna come in.
You only know it's Armor because he wears a gold bracelet.
That's how you know. They don't show his face until the very end, and you'll know why.
For good reason, yeah.
So he calls Armor, and Armor's gonna presumably come and fuck shit up. And then he calls Johnny, arranges a meeting with Nancy.
Yeah, because they're gonna exchange information, I guess, because he thinks that she's been spying on them, I guess, or something. And so they meet up, and they go in, and it's a really confusing scene because they both enter the building, and then she walks out
immediately. Well, the way it's cut like super quickly, where it's just like immediate.
And yeah, and then you just see Armor's hand with the gold bracelet,
waiting for Johnny to come out.
And then Johnny comes out, and Armor tries to run him over with the car.
Yep. And then he jumps out of the way, and then Armor throws something. It hits like
a tire,
and we hear this like fucking explosion.
Yeah.
And then he drives away, and then you see like Johnny like pulling this thing out of a tire. It's a ninja star.
A literal ninja star.
He threw a fucking ninja star at him.
Yeah. So Johnny, being the smart badass he is like, I'm gonna fucking keep this. He literally.
Spoiler alert!
I'm sorry. He retrieves it, and you see him grab it. So I mean,
yes.
You know he has it.
Oh, but then he uses it in the greatest scene ever. So he goes back to the flower shop. There's a guy making a delivery.
So he gets in the car and like threatens him with a gun.
A shotgun.
And the guy's like, "Oh, I gotta make a quick pickup at the Don's house."
Like, listen, man, I just work here.
He's like, "Well, then best not keep him waiting then."
So they go.
And this is where the movie gets fucking just insane and beautiful. This is when it became one of my favorite fucking scenes of all time.
From this point on, it is insanity.
And I love it.
So they pull in. These guys casually open the
back of the door.
And he is there with two shotguns.
He is dual wielding double barrel shotguns.
And when we say shotguns, we mean like not sawed off. No, like big.
Like full double barrel shotguns. Yeah. Just dual wielding them. Just shoots both of them.
You get like John Woo style fucking squibs.
Huge squibs, just like blowing blood everywhere.
Squibs and slow motion.
And then he gets out of the...
shoots one guy down, and then...
Well, I love it because they like fire at him, and then he shoots one guy down, and then knows where the Dawn is, so he shoots in the sheets.
Well, he like runs behind this thing, and he shoots the sheet, and then he just falls out of it. Dead. And then he knocks over all the flowers and...
lights them on fire... And it's like, this one's for Mario.
This is for Mario. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Because that's like the note that they wrote for Mario.
And I was like, this is fucking badass.
This is the shit. And then
the fucking shit.
He gets in his car, and then we see that Armor is there.
And Armor tries to run him off the road. But then Johnny turns, and they both go up this like hill.
This mountain, and...
And Johnny like gets out and like gets ready to fight. And so Armor gets out, and we finally are revealed...
Well, he ambushes Armor.
Yeah.
Remember? And he knocks him down, and then he's like...
He's like, I should have known it was you.
And...
I should have known it was you, O'Malley.
Who is O'Malley, Will?
O'Malley is the fuckface that planted a live mine on him in the beginning of the movie.
He's like, why, O'Malley? He's like, because I have a contract, Johnny. My contract is to kill you. And then they fight.
And it's...
the best.
It is like... Okay, so literally this scene is like 30 seconds.
It's so blunt.
They just... They do the punches, and then one of them grabs... like so
O'Malley grabs his nuts.
Grabs Johnny's nuts.
Grabs him.
And then, like...
Johnny punches him in the chest, and he goes flying.
And then, like, O'Malley finds a rock. This is very quick, by the way.
Before he finds this rock, O'Malley also does, like, a fucking, like, praying mantis thing, and, like, just kind of pokes Johnny in his eyes.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
And it knocks Johnny down, and he's on the ground, and then O'Malley picks up this... It's a small rock, but he pretends like it's this huge, heavy rock, because he's, like, struggling to pick it up.
It's tiny.
And he puts it over his head.
And Johnny reaches in his sock.
And fucking, just throws the ninja star into O'Malley's throat. And I love this scene because he throws it into his throat. And O'Malley is holding the rock up still. And just, and then it cuts. So you get O'Malley holding this rock with a ninja star in his neck. For literally a millisecond, he's just and then And then it immediately cuts. Like, no explanation.
It just cuts.
They didn't even let the fucking actor fall to the ground. I love it.
It's so great.
Like, the way it, like, was cut is just... Like, normally I'd be like, that's stupid, but this is fucking beautiful.
It's so fucking hilarious. I just love how blunt it is. Like, it just cuts and he's on the phone. Like, Nancy, come here. That's all it does.
And then he's on the phone. Nancy, I need you to come. It's over.
Nancy, I need you to come. It's over. I finished it. Like, that's it.
Oh,
and then we're like, what the fuck? But, you see, we knew something's gonna happen.
I was like, some shit is gonna happen.
Because Nancy has been bullshitting.
And Johnny doesn't... doesn't know. I did...
We thought.
Yes.
We thought it didn't know. But
Johnny can't be duped.
No.
Okay?
But here's what happens. They go there, and...
They're like...
They go up this mountain, and we get the love song. But we get it with lyrics now.
I love it because they're just walking, and it immediately cuts to the girl shooting Johnny.
Oh, God. They're, like, mid, like, kiss or something, and just gunshot. Johnny's, like, falling down, and then he just looks at her and is like, why? It's like, because you killed my man.
He's like, you really think that Tony raped me?
He's like, he didn't have to rape me.
I let him.
I loved him.
Yeah. And then she shoots her, like, she shoots him, like, 3 more times.
And we're just like, what the fuck? And
this
now
money shot. Like,
now. I was fully ready for it to just end.
I don't get this excited at endings all the time. But this movie, the ending, is so... Every once in a while there comes along a movie ending.
It's
where
true.
you just have to sit in awe.
It's poetry.
It is poetry in motion.
Because you think to yourself, everything led up to this. It's
the
like
money shot.
It's like it's the topping on the cake.
Yeah.
The cherry on top. This is it. And so she starts walking away, and I'm just thinking, like, we're both probably thinking, like,
and then it shows...
Like deep down, I think deep down, we were both like, something is going to happen.
And then it shows her foot, and she steps on a plastic thing, and
you hear clicks, and then you see her foot on a landmine.
And then her face, and then just an explosion, but, like, just the start of an explosion.
They cut mid-explosion.
Not even mid-explosion. It's like a third of the way through the beginning of the explosion, and they cut it.
And then there's a text that comes up on the screen.
Oh, can I please recite it?
Please.
So it says, to the veteran...
This is dedicated.
Yeah, this is dedicated to the veteran who gave up his position on the front line to join...
The unemployment
line.
And then at the very bottom, peace is hell.
Credits.
I have so much love. Because they did that. I don't have to tell you, like, I was dying of laughter at that ending.
Me too.
Because...
Like, I think everyone needs to see that.
It's so blunt.
I love it.
Because, like, right before it happened, both of us were probably thinking, like, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. Because that whole, like, last 20 minutes was so insane that you're just thinking, like, something's going to happen.
You're like, there's no way she's just going to get away with it.
Yeah, something's going to happen. There's going to be some insanity. But I was not expecting that.
No.
This fucking ending is incredible, and I'm baffled that I haven't heard of this movie before.
This is, like, thank you, Fred Williamson.
And I don't know, but ending your movie will also pausing 1/3 of the way into a woman getting blown up by a fucking landmine, and having like that text with "peace is hell" at the bottom is absolute insanity, and I am so thankful for it.
Even the O'Malley death scene.
Oh God,
is
beautiful.
Any other movie, it would have been stupid, but they made it work. I don't know how, but they made it ridiculous enough that it was so goddamn entertaining.
It's beautiful.
I laughed my ass off when he just and cut.
Nancy, it's done.
I don't know what it was supposed to be. I didn't know if it was supposed to be funny, but my God, I laughed really hard.
Man, I don't even know. That's the best part, though.
I know. It is the best part.
Oh, beautiful.
Sorry, I'm just looking up little tidbits about this movie. Apparently, Gold, Professor Theodore, whatever.
Theodore Rasputin the Fourth.
All his lines were improvised on the spot.
So, the reason he was in the movie, as I kind of guessed, is because he's friends with Fred Williamson.
And they were both in MASH together.
Yeah, which I also had no fucking idea. But they were in MASH together, and he just decided to have him come in and have a little fun on set.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's why it turned into a buddy movie for a minute.
That's why that happened.
Because they were buddies.
There you go. What are your final thoughts?
I love this movie, actually. It's very ridiculous, and it's very charming in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think the way it's directed is really, for the 70s, I mean, God, blaxploitation films, I love blaxploitation films, and I'm just, my final thought is I'm really sad that I hadn't seen this before, or I even heard of it, because I really like Fred Williamson. I think he's a really good actor, and, the fact that he made this work, even though it was, your typical mob gangster movie, but he made it feel, fresh, but, ridiculous enough that it was hilarious, and actually pretty damn entertaining.
It was worth sitting through it.
I think so. I wasn't falling asleep. It wasn't boring.
Do you remember the last movie we watched, Will?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, think about that.
I don't want to. But, it was just, I don't know, for this podcast, it was actually pretty well made. Mm-hmm. Actually pretty well put together, too. And then it had the fucking ridiculous ending, and it was just, that cemented it for me.
Yeah.
I was thinking, this movie isn't terrible, and then it got ridiculous, and I was just this is beautiful. I didn't mind watching it before, but now I want to finish it. I want to see the last of this. I want to see where it goes from here. Because I was already sold with the double-barrel shotguns, dual-wielding them and shooting guys down. And then we got more ridiculousness, and it was beautiful.
It was great.
So what are your final thoughts?
Pretty much echoing what you said. I'm really baffled that I haven't heard of this before. Because, this is, right up my alley.
Yeah.
Especially with that ending.
This is, the kind of 70s movie I love.
I live for this insanity. To me, I watch movies like this, and they make me supremely happy.
It's just a movie you can enjoy for its pure entertainment value.
And they don't make movies like this anymore.
No.
You are not going to get that insanity of an ending.
Well, because this movie doesn't take itself seriously. It doesn't have to.
It's sincere, right? Yeah. It's, again, because like you said, you don't know if it's supposed to be funny, because it's sincere.
Well, I love it, because it's you can tell Fred Williamson just sat down and was what would be badass? If he had 2 double-barrel shotguns in each hand.
You know what would be awesome? If the woman gets blown the fuck up.
By a landmine, foreshadowing from the very beginning of the movie. Before the credits even.
And that's why I love it. It's you don't get that stuff, that insanity anymore.
No.
It's just pure, it's sincere, and it's almost it kind of reminds me of all those insane 80s action movies that we enjoy. But yeah, this is fun, and the first hour I was watching, and I'm you know what, this isn't really, I wouldn't call this a bad movie. It's not a masterpiece, but I wouldn't call it bad.
No, not by any standards.
It's kind of just a pretty standard 2 mob bosses kind of going against each other with a character in the middle.
One guy getting in the middle that doesn't want to get involved, but through certain circumstances has to get involved. We've
seen it, and it's it wasn't, it's not the worst version of this that I've seen, and it wasn't bad. But then a man throws a ninja star at Fred Williamson, And then, well, actually, I would say from the scene where he infiltrates the fucking flower shop and just guns everyone down while wearing a fucking white suit, from that point on, it's beautiful.
Seriously, the last like 25 minutes of the movie just made it like totally worth it for me.
Because there are those movies that you sit through them and nothing happens. Like Trucker's Woman.
Yeah.
Remember that? There are those movies that you sit through like an hour of bullshit thinking that, okay, it's not much has happened, but the ending is going to be good, right? And it's not.
But that's what it built up to something, and the payoff is it pays out in every way I would have hoped for.
It builds up to absolute insanity.
It's the perfect payout.
It is.
Like, you wait for this to happen, you wait for him to finally get involved, and he does, and it just takes it to an insane level, and it's beautiful.
I still can't believe how they ended it.
That is like one of the best ways to end this movie, because like, how else were they going to end it?
It's true.
Either he wins or he loses.
No, it's true.
But the fact that he like blew her up with a landmine, like, how'd he?
It's not just that. Like, it's the fact that they ended like mid-explosion.
It even makes it better that they never showed him like setting up the landmine or anything.
No, it's true.
He knows exactly where she's gonna go. Like, she knows exactly that she's gonna step on this. Like, that happened. Like,
the fact that it's completely unpredictable is why it's hilarious. Because like, you're watching it and then click, boom.
But not even boom. It's just, and then
freeze frame.
Yeah.
Like, because if she blew up, and then we saw the full explosion, and then there was like that little like lull, and then the ending, it would have still been funny. But it's not as funny as her blowing up, and then freeze frame, credits.
I was actually gonna say, I'm actually glad they like freeze framed where they did, because it makes it more insane.
It makes it so much better,
more entertaining as a whole.
Yeah.
And the fact that they even had that quote like dedicated to a veteran, like I'm just like, they didn't need to add this, but they did, and thank you so much.
Peace is hell.
Fucking beautiful.
Peace is hell.
Is it like a metaphor you can never escape war or something like that?
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to get deep, it's about
I don't know if we have to deep dive into this, but
listen, this is a very deep film, okay? What it's going for is that, like, civilian coming back to, like, and transitioning into civilian life is difficult.
Well, and it kind of makes it more relevant in, like, especially the Vietnam War.
Because this was, yeah.
Like, that was kind of the reality.
Yeah, this was, 1975.
So, like, I can't believe Fred Williamson made this ridiculous movie and still managed to shove some, like, social commentary into it. Like, that is beautiful. Like, the fact that he made this just totally ridiculous movie and was like, I'm going to have a message in it. And then, like he did it. And it works. And it makes sense.
That's true. You can't say that it doesn't fit.
It does. It fits the theme perfectly.
It's about an unemployed veteran who...
that gets shit on until he joins a fucking mob family and gets, like... railroaded by a woman,
and then blows her the fuck
up. I love this movie. This movie is great.
Watch it
just for the last like 25 minutes. Like, it's an okay movie until the end, but then it becomes a great movie.
Just watch it,
please. I recommend this movie tenfold.
It's on Amazon Prime. I'm really annoyed that I haven't seen it or heard of it before this.
If you like blaxploitation movies, I urge you to watch this movie.
And if you don't like blaxploitation movies,
can we be friends
with them? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I love blaxploitation movies.
Listen, these are like I swear to God, I feel like 80% of our fucking movies lately are blaxploitation. Because apparently, white people did make fucking action movies in the 70s.
Apparently not.
It's just black people.
Or if they did, it's just it's totally...
They made Trucker's Woman.
They tried to make, like, action movies with women, and it doesn't work. I mean, not that you can't have an action movie with a woman, but, like, they made shitty ones.
Yeah, like you got...
total shit.
Wow, Trucker's Woman. What a masterpiece.
Didn't even involve a woman, really, but okay.
I mean, she did become a trucker's woman, sort of.
Still like truck stop women better.
Truck Stop Women is an unsung masterpiece.
It is great.
It's the movie that could.
Yeah.
The little movie that could.
Exactly. I didn't
Just
think
like
it
this.
would be good, and it was fucking entertaining as
Just
shit.
like this.
Just like this.
Well, then again, I didn't think anything of this movie because, like I said, I had never heard of this thing until I found it, and even then I didn't like look into it. I was just like, okay, Fred Williamson. I like Fred Williamson. Oh, he directed it. That's fucking weird. It's supposed to be bad.
This is his first This is his directorial debut.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay. I mean, it has a low rating, so obviously, like, that's why I put it on here. But does it really deserve that?
I don't think so.
I mean, like...
Shut up, computer. Sorry.
Shut the fuck up, Windows. It's not that bad. Like, come on.
No.
Give me a fucking break.
It's really not. We've seen way worse.
Listen, we've seen way
And if you guys
worse.
are following along and actually, unfortunately, watching all these movies with us, I'm sorry, first and foremost. But...
I'm not sorry, because now you can watch Mean Johnny Barrows.
Please. If you watch any of our movies, just watch this one.
Maybe it's on YouTube, too. I don't fucking know. I just know it's on Amazon Prime, and it's somewhat restored, mostly.
The audio is a little crappy, but that's about it. Yeah, so that was Mean Johnny Barrows. Awesome. Now, we got some big things ahead of us, I think.
We do.
I kind of teased you guys on our Instagram and Facebook. So, we're not going to tell you what it is yet.
We'll tell you, like,
but
a week before.
But there's big things ahead. Like I said last time. I mean, not, like, huge. I mean, like, big for us, okay? Shut up.
Listen, dude. They're going to suffer.
Well... we're gonna
not
suffer.
As much as we're
gonna suffer more.
Yeah.
But I will tell you. I'll give you a little hint. Just keep an eye on our YouTube channel.
Yes. We will still be doing the movies.
Don't worry. We're still continuing the podcast,
and we will continue to do these movies until we are dead in the ground.
Yes, we're just gonna try something new as well.
But in addition, we're gonna give you something extra.
Yes.
Because...
for all of our hard work, we're going to give you something extra.
Because we care.
Because we want to give back to the community.
For something.
For us watching all these shitty movies.
We're going to give back with some other shit.
Yep. Just a different format.
Yeah. You know, there's different formats of entertainment out there.
Yeah, there is. There's more than just shitty movies.
We're going to... just add a little something.
Yep. And that's all we'll say about it.
Don't even worry.
Yep.
Don't even trip.
So, that's coming up. And we're going to continue this like we said.
So in December, be on the lookout. We will tell you.
We'll tell you. We might not say what it is. We'll just tell you when to tune in.
Nah, I think we should tell them what it is.
Should we?
Like a week before.
Okay, yeah. We'll tell them.
So they'll be ready.
Okay, that's fair. It's going to be an endurance. It's going to be a marathon, but okay.
And, you know, we will try to be ready.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteeing it.
I might get really drunk beforehand, but...
beforehand?
During, probably.
Okay, I was going to say, if you get drunk beforehand, I would worry about you.
It might be beforehand. We never know.
I'd worry.
This podcast might make me start drinking more.
Please drink responsibly, kids.
Yes, please. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. As always, this has been Will.
And this has been Alex.
And we are They Mostly Come Out at Night. We will talk to you all later.
Peace is hell.
Ah!
Nancy, it is done.
Ah!
That!
Ah!
Peace is hell.